Picture this. One moment, and you're 10 times smaller. Your apartment turns into an endless hall with ceilings as tall as skyscrapers. An ordinary puddle on the sidewalk becomes a lake you could drown in. A single raindrop comes at you like a cannonball. But the biggest danger in this world isn't outside at all. It's inside your own skull, and almost nobody thinks about it. Let's start with simple physics, because without it, none of this makes sense. When any body shrinks 10 times along every dimension, something strange happens. Its surface area doesn't shrink 10 times. It shrinks 100 times. Its volume and mass shrink 1,000 times. That's not a small detail. That's a rule that flips every law of your old life upside down. The first result of this rule sounds like a gift. Muscle strength depends on cross-sectional area, but body weight depends on volume. So the smaller the body, the more strength it has for every unit of weight. A tiny human could lift loads many times heavier than their own body and jump many times their own height. What used to take a gym membership and years of training becomes just a property of the new body. The second result is even stranger. Falling from a height, which used to mean certain death, stops being dangerous at all. Air resistance acts on surface area, while the force of impact depends on mass. A small body barely speeds up as it falls, and barely gets hurt when it lands. That's exactly why an ant can fall off a rooftop and just walk away. A person shrunk 10 times could jump off a third-floor balcony and simply dust themselves off. But these new powers come with a brutal price. The smaller the body, the more surface area it has relative to its volume, which means heat escapes far faster than the body can produce it. An ordinary cool room, once perfectly comfortable, now becomes a freezer slowly draining the life out of you. Just to avoid freezing, the body would have to burn fuel almost non-stop. That's why shrews, the smallest mammals on the planet, have to eat almost constantly, or they starve within hours. A shrunken human would live in an endless race against hunger. Hunger wouldn't be a rare inconvenience. It would be a daily threat to survival. Sleep, once a form of rest, would become a dangerous luxury, since a few hours without food could be fatal. The outside world stops being harmless too. An ordinary lawn becomes a dense jungle, where every insect your size could kill you. A drop of water on a leaf isn't decoration anymore. It's a trap. Surface tension can hold a small body as tightly as tar. Even a light breeze, one an adult barely notices, could lift a tiny body off the ground and carry it away like a dry leaf. But all of that is just scenery. The real danger isn't hiding in the grass or in raindrops. It's hiding in the math applied to the most important organ a human has. If the body shrinks 1,000 times in volume, the brain has to shrink by that same law, which means the number of neurons that make a person could drop so far that the mind itself is at risk. This is where real biology steps in, unexpectedly, and it's been studied for decades. Living organisms have a mechanism scientists call the brain-sparing effect. When a body develops under serious resource shortages, the organism starts distributing what it has unevenly. Growth of other organs slows down first, while nature does everything it can to protect brain development for as long as possible. This has been confirmed in studies on severe growth restriction before birth across many species, including humans. Something like this has already happened in the real history of Earth, and this might be the most unexpected turn in the whole story. On the Indonesian island of Flores, scientists found the remains of ancient humans just over 1 meter tall. They were nicknamed science's Hobbits. Their brains were roughly a third the size of a modern human's, closer to a chimpanzee's. But complex stone tools were found right alongside their bones, which means these tiny people were very likely capable of building sophisticated tools and surviving in a dangerous world. That flips the whole logic of fear on its head. It turns out what matters isn't just total brain volume, but how the neurons inside it are organized and wired together. A person shrunk 10 times might not turn into a helpless creature at all. Their thinking might change, but it wouldn't necessarily disappear, because nature already ran this exact experiment once, and it ended with thinking beings capable of building tools. Now imagine it wasn't just one body that shrank, but an entire civilization. Building materials depend on volume, so houses, roads, and cities would need 1,000 times less stone, metal, and wood. Forests, fields, and entire countries would suddenly become absurdly, impossibly spacious for their new, tiny residents. Humanity's environmental footprint could shrink so drastically that today's arguments over the planet's resources would lose all meaning. But there's a trap hiding here that almost nobody thinks about. Small creatures burn energy far faster than large ones, measured per unit of body weight. Which means the demand for food wouldn't shrink nearly as fast as the body did. Feeding a tiny civilization would turn out to be far harder than it looks if you judge it only by simple volume math. And there's a problem no science can solve. The entire familiar world, every staircase, every doorknob, every curb on every sidewalk, was built for the old body size. For a tiny human, an ordinary step would turn into a sheer cliff, and a curb would become a wall 3 stories tall. In an instant, existing civilization would become a death trap for its own creators. And this is where the most unexpected thought in this entire story is born. The problem with a shrunken humanity was never physical weakness, and it was never a loss of intelligence. The real problem is that the entire world around us, every building, every street, every ordinary object, was built for exactly one scale. We rarely notice this because we've never seen the world any other way. Maybe what we call human civilization isn't as tightly bound to a specific height or body size as it seems. The story of Flores already proved it. A mind can survive in a body just over 1 meter tall. The real question was never whether a person could survive shrinking 10 times. The real question is, how much of what we consider an inseparable part of ourselves is really just the size of the set we built around the one scale we happen to know?